Happy New Year 2024! We're actually there in a few hours. I'm just so excited. 2023 was the best year of my life. As far as I remember, I have been tested by this year, but I had lots of learnings and opportunities happening. So I met amazing people. I'm just so grateful, and I can't believe that we are finally headed to 2024. But that's not the goal of this video. Actually, I realized that you enjoyed the previous video where I shared about how to apply for the Unleash Innovation Lab, and I'm so grateful and excited for you guys because a few of you made it into the program, and it was just exciting to hear from you and your experiences under this program and in Rwanda. So congratulations to you. So I got reached out with not a few people if I could do the same video for the youth forum, which is happening in March 2024. This is the 14th IRENA Youth Forum. I got to participate in the 13th IRENA Youth Forum this year, January, and it was very enriching. I met amazing people working towards the achievement of clean energy, SDG 7, clean energy sector. But it's not just limited to people who are already innovating around this space. It's also for students and youth who find interest in the energy space and want to contribute. So if you have an idea, if you see ways you could shape the energy space to be more inclusive, to be just, but to also be achievable, then you're the right person. And if you're not, and you're not someone, then share the video. Let me not take much time during the intro. Let's just go straight into the video. I want to share you about what the Youth Forum is all about, who should apply, why should you apply, and then we go through the application process together. What are you expected to answer in those short essay questions? What are they really asking for, and how do you make your application stand out? As usual, in the comment section, you just leave your questions. I'm very sure I'll answer them. So let's jump into it. All right, so here is a quick summary brief of what the IRENA Youth Forum is all about. IRENA is short for International Renewable Energy Agency, and the IRENA Youth Forum, the new generation of decision makers, which is happening in April 2024 in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, will be merging for its 14th session of IRENA Assembly. So the IRENA Assembly is the agency's ultimate decision-making authority, where heads of state, government, ministers, and global stakeholders, including youth, meet to discuss and advance the energy transition. What I see as the purpose of this whole assembly is to strengthen youth networks, as you could see from various pictures, connecting global energy youth change makers in one space, one room, for them to exchange but also learn from each other, but also to connect youth with global leaders and government representatives and IRENA experts. And lastly, to create space for young people to contribute to the agency's mission of accelerating renewable energy deployment to achieve climate objectives, but also advance sustainable development goals. So in a nutshell, that's what the Youth Assembly is all about. I think now it's the right time to jump into how to apply and how to make your application stand out. Let's go. All right, so let's now go into the how to apply. Give me a sec to find the right application portal. All right, so I think this is blocking a bit somewhere down. So in your Google tab, you type in IRENA Youth Forum. It should be there. Click on this link, the new generation of decision makers. And as soon as, by the way, I'm so sorry if the sound changes. I'm recording on quite different platforms. So I don't know where to put this, just blocking. All right, so this is the platform. The new generation of decision makers, IRENA Youth Forum, the IRENA 14th IRENA Assembly. So it's expected to happen on the 16th of April. However, the application deadline is on the 31st of January, Abu Dhabi local time. So keep this in mind while you're applying. So who is eligible? So this is open to everyone all over the globe. And It's balancing the geographical representation of youth and highly encourage application from youth in least developed countries, SIDs, small island developing states, and developing countries. And upon selection, you'll be offered a full sponsorship. This includes travel, accommodation, and you can see it's quite competitive. Only 35 participants will be selected for this forum. However, it's likely that you might be among the 35. And now the application process, youth interested youth between the age of 16 and 35 can submit by completing the application form. So the application form is right after you click this link here. It will take you to a platform like this. All right. So I won't go through the contact information about yourself. So this is quite self-explanatory. However, on section B, where you're now to talk about your engagement in promoting renewable energy and sustainable development for all, is where I think maybe I should focus on. Now, first with the first question, describe specific project or initiative you have been involved in that demonstrate your leadership and commitment to sustainable energy development. So what are you being asked? Here you can see the word counts are quite few, just 2,000 characters. So you need to be as specific and well detailed as you should. And you're not just being asked about your leadership style, your leadership, how you portray your leadership in advancing energy transition. It's more about the project. It's more about the impact. It's more about the initiative you have been involved in. And I understand if you're maybe 16 or 18 or you're still a student, this might quite be different when it comes to involvement in specific project. But this could be maybe a research you're doing. This could be a club you're leading. This could be, it could be anything. Is there any particular project going on within your community that is linked to the energy space and sustainable development goals? This is where you show your leadership. So it's not about you talking about I am a servant leader because I'm committed to my community. I'm a visionary leader because that's not what you're being asked for. It's mostly about what project did you lead? What project or initiative were you involved in? How were you involved? What did you do? And what impact did this bring with regards to achieving sustainable development goals and energy transition in particular? You should, whatever you'll be talking about here, make sure it's very well linked to the energy space. And if you could maybe do a little bit of background research about specific targets of energy under the SDGs, like Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 7. You can find all these links on Google online. So it's more about you linking up the initiative and specific SDGs. And also, don't be worried if you take us a little bit back to why the project in the first place. Is it something that is self-led? I remember when I was applying, it is a project that I was working on for my undergrads about energy, how to generate energy from footsteps. And it's a project I was working on with a friend. So it's more about take us back. Why are you actually solving this problem in the first place? Is it because your community is facing the same challenge? Is it because it's something you experience firsthand and you think this is the right intervention to solving it? So give us a little bit of context. Don't just be too broad of I'm doing biogas because everyone is doing biogas. Tell a story. That's how you make yourself stand out. Just if we remove your name, can we still see you in the application? So like be as that detailed and more personalize your essay. Like tell a story so that someone on the other end can really connect to what you're talking about or take them in your world necessarily. So that's all about question one. Now, question two, how do you see yourself contributing to the global energy transition and achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs? What I think could be a mistake is when you're talking to something in the first essay here, and now coming to the second essay, it's a complete different story. So here, let's say you talked about the problem you're solving. You can divide this into various categories. If you're talking about biogas, let's say, that's a project or initiative you're involved in. And within your leadership, you just realize that in your community, you have access to cow dung or organic waste in general. However, people still go into cutting down trees. And we know that trees are good carbon captures. And the more we cut them, then the more emissions. So now you realize that actually you could use this cow dung to have biogas, which is now clean. And then you involved various community leaders or community members to develop a biogas digester. And this benefited, let's say, 15 households. And you're planning now to expand. So that's an example that you shared in the first paragraph. And this shows your leadership, because by the end of the day, it's a leader identifies the community and find ways to solving it. So you don't need to highlight that I'm a leader because of this. It's something that is really very evident. And now coming to second question, how do you see yourself contributing? First of all, you showed us the problem you're solving. And if you could add statistics, that's very okay. And now, how do you contribute to the energy, to the global energy transition? This now comes to, yes, I was involved in this project, but this time around, how is this project impacting the energy transition? Now here, you need to understand what the energy transition, the global energy transition is all about. What is the goal? What is the mission? What's the overall aim within this global energy transition? First, it will come up with reducing emissions and the energy transition that is inclusive, that is just, that is affordable, all that should be kept in mind. So how are you helping the world achieve this global energy transition in a way that is just but also acceptable to the communities where you're living in? So this is where now you talk about your project. How much emissions is it reducing? How is it contributing to a just energy transition? Because now if you talked about biogas is quite affordable as compared to the to other forms of energy that we could be talking about. So that could be one way, making energy accessible and affordable to the communities. So that could be one of the contributions. And now coming to, what are your expectations from participating in IRENA Youth Forum, and how do you envision it contributing to your personal and professional growth? Now that you have talked about how you hope to contribute to the global energy transition, your expectations shouldn't be that different. It should be more about you and your community in this energy sector, you and your community trying to solve this energy problem, challenge. And now, what the forum is to contribute. I already shared earlier the purpose of the forum, connection, but also connecting you to the global leaders and IRENA experts. IRENA experts, they're into the energy space. Is there any specific skill? Is there any specific request you're expected to gain from attending this forum? Are you looking for expertise in how to expand this a biogas digester of yours to a global regional scale? These are the people you want to connect with. Are you looking into experts in this specific space, either scientific experts or research experts in this field, and you want to connect to them and learn? Or are you looking for partners? Are you looking for funding? And you believe that by networking with these leaders at this stage, at this forum, then you could potentially find partners, you could find funding. Or are you also interested to see how the UAE, Abu Dhabi, where the whole forum will take place, how do they approach energy? How are they solving the energy demands on a global but also national stage? Because they really have this I forgot the name, but it's an energy solar. system that is doing so well, and that could be leading examples in maybe in the future you want to have such same solar panel that is serving various households and making energy accessible to all community members. So are you looking into those specific needs? What are your expectations? Your expectation should still be your vision, what you're hoping to gain from the forum, if that makes sense. And now to the last question. Are you or your organization able to provide funding for your participation in IRENA Youth Forum? If maybe or no, please elaborate on why you should be considered for financial support by IRENA. If you're able to fund your participation in this forum, then this shouldn't be a question of your concern. You can either put does not apply or blah, blah, blah. But then if you are, or if you think you might need this financial support, this is a great opportunity to highlight why you are the right person to be funded. Because by the end of the day, it's not just you being brought into the forum to just participate, and when you go back home, there is no change. They're expecting you to come represent the majority of the population in your community or your region, and they're expecting you to bring back your learnings to impact these communities. So while you're saying why you need the financial support, you don't need to make yourself too vulnerable. Just saying that I don't have enough financial means to support my needs, but also support my participation in IRENA. That's not a valid point. Well, it might be valid, but it's not valid enough for someone to really spend their finances into bringing you to the platform. So other than you having financial limitation, what would be the impact if they invested in you? Is it that you could share this whole knowledge with, are you starting maybe a club? Or is it that after learning, after connecting with the right people, you hope to keep the networks and expand maybe more your innovation? So let it be a continuation of what you shared in the previous question about your expectations. So let's say if you're not funded, with the ambitions and the overall dream you have of being in the forum and what the space is to provide you, then if you're not supported in being to this space where the energy policies and negotiations are taking place, then it's likely that your contribution and your concerns might not be catered, might not be put into consideration while they are deciding about maybe the next finance. Or maybe finance is not an issue of their concern. Financing startups that are working on green or energy transition or energy innovation is not something they are very much interested in investing in, providing startup investment. And this is something you want to push. So if you're not there, then it's likely that few people will talk about this. I'm not so sure if you really get where I'm coming from. It should not be more of you concentrating on the finance, but also you and what you're pushing when you're in that space. That's what makes you the right person to be funded, because by the end of the day, you're not selfish. It's not just you, it's also the community, it's also the region, it's also the people that you are representing. And now to the last, where you need to upload your CV. This could be a whole video of its own, but let your CV speak about your experiences in the energy space. That shouldn't be a limitation, but that should be a main ingredient on your resume. And let it be specific enough. Energy, the project you worked on, your education, it could be anything, but let it be very well detailed, revised, and clean for anyone reading it to understand. And one bonus, one tips I would very much want to leave with you is make your research about the organization inviting you to this forum. Go read a little bit about them, understand the language. Are they interested in fossil fuel phasing out? Are they interested? Yes, they are. But what are the language? What are the language that is so common in their reports? in their publications. Go make a little bit research about them. Then you could have a clear view of how to communicate and approach them. I very much hope this helps in some way, and I'm still available for questions. I mean, answering a few of your questions and concerns in the comment sections, and all the best. Again, Happy New Year 2024.